Now let's focus to somebody who hasn't made it. Okay, so your homepage. True, what it does need to say very quickly, who are you and what do you have to offer this person? What do you do? And I even am guilty, and will point it out and call myself out on some of the stuff I need to get myself in order on, because you'll see right here, I'm set up actor and screenwriter, very simple, and most of you know me as that. But like I said, I just dropped a single to iTunes. Probably should update this. Probably should say, you know, actor, screenwriter, and songsmith, or whatever I want to do there. But I need to know who you are immediately. A lot of that can also be by whatever picture you decide to use as your homepage. That your headshot is supposed to say something about you. That's why you give it to somebody. I'm supposed to, you know, for me it was like, I wanted to be a little mysterious. I don't know if I accomplished that, but I seem to get called, so it's probably not the worst thing in the world. I'm sure it has something more to do with my agent, but this site does get a lot of traffic, so I want to make sure that it's in line with how I want to present myself. Resume. So make sure it's related work. It's great that I ran engineering for the Franklin Mint for 10 years. That's really useful information, but not for the people come to check this out. So make sure it's your body of work, which pretty much is, most of it's going to be in line with what you've got up on Actors Access. You know, down here I still have my physical characteristics and my miscellaneous skill sets. I still look at this and think of 30 different ways that I can try to present this information. But at the same time, people might just be scanning and checking things out. I make sure that the less important information, at least in my opinion, for what I'm trying to show people, is below that fold. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we're designing a site, getting into like screen resolution and stuff, which is starting to kind of go out the window a little bit because people's computer resolution is so high. Most of your content is being viewed. It's not as important as it was 10 years ago. That being said, we still want to be aware of it. But I've got here, I've got click for a printable resume. It just goes to my one on Actors Access, which I find to be the easiest one for someone to print out. It's ready to go in PDF, right? With I think it has a little thumbnail of your headshots that it prints with it. So use those tools that you already have to your advantage. Headshots. Do you have a variety? How do they present you? And are they recent? Which is the big thing. I think at some point, I think my head's gotten a little bit bigger. So I need to update this. This one's almost 2 years old. So it's just about time for me. But again, you're not going to fool anybody. You're going to walk into somebody and they're going to be like, you know, I give people this picture when we're on for 4 months on A Million Ways to Die in the West, and I had a beard that was out to here, and then they're just going, so where's this guy? You know, and I just want to make sure that you're giving an accurate depiction of who you are. Professional versus personal. I don't have the right answer to this. I choose to have this written in third person. If I wanted to do first person content, I'd probably have a blog, and it would probably be related to the projects that I'm, you know, but for me, I choose not to have that on my site. That may change, but it's because I spend so much time engaging people on Facebook and Twitter. So, again, it's an option, and I think it's one you definitely want to consider. And when we get into building a site, we'll show you how blogs can tie in very easily to your site. If you have other skills that are worth sharing, again, make sure that they're related to the industry. Don't let us know that in your spare time you like to do plumbing. It's great. Leave your information with me. But I just, your fans and the people that you want looking at your site just aren't interested in that information. Contact. agent information, production company info, if you have one or part of one or are represented by one. Don't ever put your personal information on here. Don't ever put, I'm even, spam filters are getting better, but so I've even gone back and forth on whether or not to put an actual email address there. You've probably seen instances where somebody's writing at or put something in the parentheses with the word at instead of. At the end of the day, you still want to make it as easy as possible for somebody to contact you. So I would say on the other side, wherever you get your email, choose wisely on that side, because put them in charge of filtering everything out. If it becomes difficult and cumbersome, somebody has to copy and paste your email address and then has to remove parentheses at, you're done. It's not going to take it, because there's 50 of me, even here in Albuquerque. Thanks, I'll move on to the next one. Don't put any of your personal information. I don't care if your production company is your house, that's great. Don't put it here. Inquiries, always just keep it to email. If you want to, you don't want somebody showing up at your house. It does happen.
Sorry.
Did anyone notice? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
I just had, so as...
Oh, I'm sorry, real quick. If you do have questions, please, while we're going along, ask me, and if it's related later, I'll let you know.
So if you go one screen back and
Sure.
you look at the headers going across the resume, bio, music, photos, content, that's how we just went through it, right?
Yes.
In that order.
I did.
Because I don't really remember, like, there was a lot more on the resume page than the resume, right? Or, you know what I mean? Just a quick run through of resume. This would look like bio. This would look like music. This would look like photos. This would look like.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we can. Right. So here was my resume. So here's my resume here, my film, television, shorts, commercial, theater, and training. And then down here, I just have the physical attributes.
Okay.
It's something that you would typically tie to your resume if you were giving it to a casting director. So
Bio.
So next was the bio, right? So sorry, I think we did jump around a little bit, but bio, yeah. So I broke mine up, and this keeps going down, but. I moved my musician section up for right now because I have a single out, so that's fun, and you should go ahead and get it. I have that there, then I've got my screenwriting, my acting, and my directing below that. So, again, this is stuff that it has to be live. You have to keep, and what this also does is it makes you be honest in your organization, making sure that you're staying on top of that. And it's also a constant reminder of what you're doing and what you're not doing. And any kind of changes that you want to make in your life to try to enhance your craft. So, sometimes I'll sit there on my site and I'll look at my training. And what I start thinking about when I look at my training is I'm like, some of that's kind of old, and so what do I want to get back up into? And I think it's just keeping that in front of your eyes a lot, because you'll spend more time on your site than anybody else, probably, because we're not Leonardo DiCaprio. So maybe your mom will spend time on there. Did anyone notice what was missing from my site? Anyway?
Demo reel?
Demo reel, thank you. We use Giacomo's site, okay? We all know Giacomo, right? I didn't put up a demo reel because I don't feel like I have a good one yet. And I will, and so when we get into this, I'm gonna tell you exactly why. Giacomo's site, I'll get into also why I don't like Giacomo's site. I like Giacomo a lot. I'll send this over to him after. Giacomo's got great content. I mean, he's been in everything. He's got enough content to have a dramatic reel, a comedic reel. His performance in Outlaw Prophet that he did was great, so he can do an entire video on that. And if we're all lucky to do that, go for it, great. What you don't see is, and I can probably go to his site in a little bit when we go to the computer, but when you open this page, all of his videos, they all like flutter in. They like do this fun little roll thing, and no one's wowed by the web anymore. Just give me the content. Having your pictures scroll, like if you have, headshots or whatever, having those two little arrows on the side, something like that's fine. But again, this is, this isn't a 5th grade project to show how many different web skills you have that no one wants to see. So that would be my suggestion to him. He's chosen this like, it's kind of like a grainy border. It almost looks like the edge of old paper. That would be my suggestion. Get rid of that. I mean, I'm not trying to take away from this personality. At least to a certain extent, it at least doesn't take me away from the content. And I think that that's the most important thing to point out. Where I may have little creative differences with what I would suggest here, it still doesn't take me away from the content. And that is the most important thing. If your design takes anyone away from the content for a fraction of a second, you've lost them. Little things, I mean, black on blue writing, stuff like that. You know, just be careful when you do stuff like that. If you ever have any questions about how if somebody's going to have a problem with it, they're going to have a problem with it, so find another mechanism. This is why I don't have a demo reel. Never display unfinished or unrefined content, ever. Ever. And have people who can be honest with you about the content that you're putting up. I'm not saying that you should never be proud of the work that you've done. But sometimes it's not painting you in the right light or the light that you're looking to present to people. So just make sure that it is in line with how you want to present yourself. Why is it important to have your content on a mobile site? Because everyone's looking at it that way. Even the tablets are, you know, some have global settings where, you know, it can do always show me the desktop site, always show me the mobile, one way or another. And every time you go to any of these free website makers, you know, they have detection, obviously, that they're doing as to whether or not you're on a mobile device. So why is it important? Because half of your page views are going to come from that. So to not service properly that whole audience is, again, a missed opportunity. Things to just keep in mind as we are careful here: embedded content. Rely on resources that are not tied to your website. So if you're, and I'm specifically really talking about videos when it comes down to acting, do not put the dependence on you know, whoever your web, you know, if you've made the site your own and you're just hosting it somewhere, you're relying on the resources that server has. Go with somebody like YouTube, who's got 1 million servers around the world, and they're probably going to be able to deliver your content a little bit better. So take advantage of that, and that goes for any type of content that can be delivered. Go with the big ones. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a local copy, just in case. You always should, and you probably do. It's how I got on YouTube. If you don't have the local copy of content, maybe you're part of a production and somebody's put that information up on YouTube, go to a place like keepvid.com, and again, I'll provide this information, but places like KeepVid, put the YouTube address in, and you can select what quality you want to pull it down the highest quality, and then you can go ahead and save it locally, so you always have that content. Style. Keep it simple. You're going to hear me say, just keep it simple. If you keep your site simple and you focus on the content that you're delivering, then no one's good. Then people will spend their time looking at the content. They do not care that you have little butterflies up in the corner of your page. They don't. And you're not 6. Technology to avoid. Flash. You know, some of you, the example sites that I had, as I went through it, I didn't see any Flash, so good. I might be wrong, but some of them I may also have hit my point of marginal utility. I'm just like, I can't look at the site anymore. Stay away from it if possible, because no one's using it anymore. And they're really trying to play catch up, and they're not going to. HTML5 and CSS3 combination can do everything with a transform that Flash can do. So if you have something in Flash, get rid of it as soon as possible, because it's not going anywhere fast, at least in my opinion. Unnecessary movement, we talked about that as well. I don't want to see little things flying across the screen, because it just doesn't, you know, it's distracting from the content. Anything that distracts you from the content is not good. Vimeo loads okay, except for on mobile devices. It's pretty meaty. So if you're dealing with a mobile device that's on Wi-Fi connection, fine. if you're relying on your 4G to deliver that content, good luck, bro. It can get there, but it eats up a ton of bandwidth. And it's great that it's giving you HD, but if you can help it and you have control over the video content that's going in, load it up to YouTube. YouTube's got, I'm not saying you have to do a private setting, but you can make it so it's not available in search. So somebody goes directly to it. The content does live. And that content will be mildly suppressed from SEO. So when somebody looks up, so like I did a short called Kringle and Christ. And if I wanted that, I could, now if I type Kringle and Christ, it's the first thing that pops up. But if I wanted to, it would have been a lot harder for somebody to dig around and go find it. And so you can do that. If you want your demo reel up, but you don't want people just stumbling on it because they typed your name in, at the same time, if that's the case, consider redoing your demo reel. I think you want people to stumble upon you. I mean, that's part of how we are hoping to get work, right? So just keep that in mind, because I know that Vimeo does extremely great high HD video, but so does YouTube. And YouTube only allows you to do, I think, 1 HD video a day, but how many you're doing, so. Okay, so this is the fun part.